All right, everybody, we're gonna get started just in just a second for those online. If you can hear me okay, can you write a comment in the chat that says, yeah, we can hear you. All right, everybody, we're gonna get started. Welcome. Our friends online can hear us. So let's get to it. Wow, you even got it. Sounds good. All right. Okay, so we have our typical agenda, but oh no, we're mixing things up today. If you notice, the room was a little set up differently. So we're gonna do our slides, our plant of the month, our chapter updates, and then our featured speaker and featured activity. So hold on to your pants, guys. It's gonna be a good night. And I will mention I'm a little overstimulated today. Had to talk to a bunch of 8th graders. So if I am a little wacky, we're just gonna have to roll with it. So, all right, welcome to 2025. Yeah. Babs, I forgot to say, but do you have anything to say about membership?
It's time to renew. If you need to check, let me know. I've got it all right here.
That's right. See, Babs, if you need to renew. All right. What else? Oh yeah, big announcement. Well, a couple of our members requested having some sort of business card to be able to hand out. So if you're out in the wild and someone wants to learn more about the Native Plant Society and you don't have one of our cool nifty seed packets on you, we do have a collection of these. If you would like some to have on your person, you can see Tierney and she'll give you a couple. We don't have a whole bunch of these, so we're gonna give everybody a couple to start off with. If you'd like some, if you're not the type to make new friends in the wild and give out business cards, that's totally okay. Evan.
Yeah.
Grants?
Sure.
All right.
So as you may have seen on our social media posts and stuff, we're on our second season of our grants program. So if you're involved with a community organization, a school, or any type of partnership, and you're interested in, protecting and restoring native plants, invasive species removal, education, outreach, anything about native plants, we strongly encourage you to apply. The deadline for applications is February 10th. So we're awarding up to $1,500 per an application if it's accepted. So really exciting program. Like I said, this is our second go around doing this. So if you're interested in applying, feel free to reach out to us. You can either find this information on our website or you can email us at grandstrandgrants@scnps.org. So
Yeah, grants.
yeah, really exciting.
We've heard from a lot of different folks, our local municipalities and different groups who are asking about the grant. So the word is getting out there. So thank you to all of you who are sharing that information. Tierney, it's time for plant of the month. Oh no, plant of the year.
I thought it was farther out. So.
Yeah, sorry.
Hopefully I don't have anything green in my teeth. Plant of the year. Woo! So we had 12 plants we featured each month of 2024. And then this past year, we decided to do a little bit different. We had an online voting system. And the results are in. These were all of our 12 different plants, which you all got to vote on. Did anybody in here vote? Oh, yeah. Good. Some people cheated. But our winner with 25% of the vote was swamp milkweed. Followed closely by rattlesnake master. Nobody voted for robin's plantain. Shame. Shame. This is a really cute, adorable little plant. I won't go over all of the details because you should have been here for plant of the month, but this is really, really important plant for our overwintering monarchs here in South Carolina. So thanks to everybody who voted. But now it's 2025 and we get to start the whole process over again. Yay! So plant of the month for January 2025, I decided to go with a carnivorous plant that most people probably don't know about. Everybody knows about Venus flytraps. Most people know about pitcher plants, but I bet most people don't know about bladderworts. Bladderworts, or this particular one, this is Utricularia radiata. Utricularia just means small bag. And we'll get to why that is. And radiata just refers to the radial symmetry of the leaves / stems on the plant. It has a few different common names: small swollen bladderwort, which indicates that there might be a large swollen bladderwort. It is in the family Lentibulariaceae. I practiced. Which is the bladderwort family, which includes butterworts, which are also a native carnivorous plant, and corkscrew plants, which I had not heard of until I was researching this, and they're not from here, so we won't talk about those. They like wet places, as you can see from this photo. I took at the Black Cypress Preserve in Andrews. Basically anywhere that has still open water with acidic trees growing around it, so it creates more acidic water. They have a pretty wide distribution, even though they're fairly uncommon throughout most of their range. They actually go all the way from Maine down to southern Florida and west to East Texas. You can see that they tend to be a little bit more common. Oh yeah, you can see my pointer. In the Louisiana, East Texas area, and then again up here in Jersey area. But they are found in the coastal plain of South Carolina. These are the flowers. How cute and pretty are these? They remind me of snapdragons a little bit, where they have that little lip thing that attracts bumblebees. Yellow flowers tend to attract bumblebees. I couldn't find a whole ton on the pollination because everything, of course, is about how they eat insects, which we'll get to. So these are the stems and the bladders. This is where the radiata comes from here, where you have this radial symmetry. And these are what they have, little air pockets, which allows them to float on the top of the water. And then at the ends of each one of these radial spokes, you will have this whole big giant root system. And then these little black things are the bladders. And that's where the carnivory comes in. So what do they eat? They eat microinvertebrates. These are little tiny animals that live in water bodies, fresh water bodies, that you can't see unless you put them underneath a microscope. Rotifers, Daphnia, aka water fleas, and copepods, those tend to be their main foods. These are really cool animals all in of themselves, and you can go right down the Google rabbit hole with these. They also actually eat algae a little bit. Plants eating plants, plants eating animals. So we're gonna watch a short little clip courtesy of Babs and her master computer technology of how they eat. Please play. Just gonna pause it for a second. So how this works, it's really, really interesting, actually. They have a flap right here that is hermetically sealed. So this pouch is hermetically sealed from the water outside of it. And then they actually have these special cells on the edges of the bladder that expels water out of the bladder area, which creates a negative pressure inside of the bladder compared to the water density outside of it, right? And then there's all these little hairs, sort of like with a Venus flytrap, that get triggered if a copepod or a rotifer goes by it, and the flap opens, and because of the negative pressure, it sucks the microinvertebrate inside. Very, very cool. And that's it for first plan of the month for 2025. Any questions?
Big pick. It's gonna be plan of the year.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right, let's see what upcoming events we have. So we're really excited about our winter seminar that we're hosting in collaboration with the CCU Arboretum. It will be with Celie Daly, who is an ethnobotanist, and she'll be talking about rare and fascinating plants of the Black River. It will be at CCU, but it will not be in this building. You will have to follow the instructions in our newsletter, and when you register for this event, we're going to big campus. We're upgrading. This is called Britton Hall. This is what it looks like on Google. You're gonna park in this parking lot, and the building looks like a lot of the other brick buildings on campus, but Google Maps will tell you that it's Britton Hall. So we'll see you there on February 4th, 6:30 to 7:30. We will stream it on Zoom as well for those of you who can't join us in person. But it should be a fun evening. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll record that Zoom, and then we should be able to, we'll upload it after the fact. Yeah, it'll be on our YouTube, and we will share the link in our newsletter.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you can join live on Zoom too. If you pay plans.
Yeah. All right. Then we have a couple of community events, and I've pulled all of these from our awesome newsletter. So Coastal Conservation League, January 31st at 10 a.m. You have a Waccamaw River Heritage Preserve Nature Walk with Trapper of CCL. Becky won't be there?
I'll be there.
Becky will be there too, a 2-for-1. All right. The North Carolina Invasive Plants Council and South Carolina Invasive Pest Council joint meeting. Sudie, do you have anything to add about this? I know you're promoting it.
Well, we're gonna have good speakers, including Maeve. Gonna be talking about some of their, or what they're doing with, the resurgence of beach vitex and, you know, some plans on what to do about it, but, it's always really informative. There's, you know, new methods and new species to learn about, and it's a cool collaboration between North and South Carolina. But, it would be, if you're planning on going, go ahead and register. It's, that, I don't know if there's a deadline, but it's probably approaching. It's coming up soon, so try to go. I mean, Wilmington, they're not, even if you don't spend the night, it's like a good day to come for a day, the middle day. There's probably 2 field trips to Carolina Beach State Park, and then there's 2 parks in town. One at the Stanley Redder Carnivorous Garden at the Penny Ridge Preserve, and then another one at Halliburton Park. So it would be a good informative meeting.
All right. Jason, you're talking to people on February 20th? Yeah. Great. At the Burgess community?
community, center or at the Grand Strand Recreation Center for the Greater Burgess Community Association. Yeah, so gonna be targeted towards the growing Burgess community that's just grown leaps and bounds in the last 20 years, and just try to explain how to plant native gardens, what to do. I really want to try to get into the history of that area in terms of like the natural ecosystem, what used to be. So that's the one plan right now.
Cool. February 20th at 6:30. So our friends down the way in Charleston, in collaboration with the Low Country chapter of the South Carolina Native Plant Society and Clemson Extension, is having a series of native plant workshops. So if you want to take a little day trip and join, you can check out the information in our newsletter. I just wanted to put that out there. And then we also kind of wanted to put a plug for the Carolina Yards course. Have any of you taken that course before? It's offered by Clemson. It's a great course. It goes over 10 weeks. There's like a module each week, and all of it sort of deals with components of a native plant garden. So how to incorporate more eco-friendly practices in your yard, and then you can become an official Carolina yard. So things like compost, a lot about native plants, a lot of like the foundational concepts to sort of the native plant movement. So if this is something, it does cost money. I believe it's about $100 or so. But if you're interested, check that out through Clemson Extension. Our next chapter meeting will be March 20th here in this room. So, woo! Tierney, should we already give them a save the date for?
Plant sale, spring plant sale, May 3rd, Saturday, May 3rd. Conway, probably, not confirmed yet.
Woo! Does anyone else, any notes from the crowd, any activities or things you'd like to share? Yes.
I have an update. I think I told most of this group that I am starting a native plant nursery, snail seed native plants. And I'm gonna be having, not to steal the thunder of our plant sale, but I'm gonna be having a plant sale on March 14th and 15th. I'm partnering with Wild Birds Unlimited, which is kind of certified. And so I'll have online pre-orders and pickups, as well as in-person shopping. And if you go to my website, Snail Seed Native Plants, you can sign up for my newsletter, which is how I'll be sending out updates for like where to find me and how to shop. And sorry, that was just a commercial pitch, but I just wanted to let people know that I'll have some plants available soon.
Ooh. Love seeing more native plants in our area. So
Yes.
awesome. Anyone else? No pressure. Great. Okay, now we're going to turn it over to our featured speaker, who was also talking to 8th graders all day today. So we really thank you for being here, Becky. And I'm going to switch over to your slides right now.
Can I give a quick
Yes, please.
I just want to introduce our wonderful speaker and sort of give a story, some background of how we decided to focus on this topic for our meeting today. So not too long ago, I was in a meeting with the city of Conway, well, with a whole crowd of conservation-minded folks, but talking to someone from the city of Conway, and I complimented them because if anyone has been in downtown Conway, behind Palmetto Taps on Pearson Street, there is now a bioswale, which is a stormwater feature. It's like essentially a ditch, but it's an engineered structure meant to filter and store stormwater runoff, and it is full of native plants. And I know the first time I saw this, I was like jumping around. It was so great to see such a good project in our community. And so I passed on, you know, how excited I was. And what I heard back from the city of Conway is that apparently they are getting, she said, at least 2 complaints a week about this project. Complaints. unsolicited complaints, mostly along the lines of, you need to mow those weeds. So people are calling the city of Conway to complain about this overwhelmingly positive project that is improving water quantity, or it's managing water quantity, it's improving water quality, it's providing habitat, it's full of spotted horsemint and native trees, and it looks good. I know that's subjective, but it was clearly designed, it's clearly intentional. So we thought that an important role that our chapter could play is to balance out that negative feedback, balance out those complaints with compliments. So we were really thinking, how can our chapter support this project and encourage the city of Conway, as well as other local governments, to bring more projects like that into our community? And that's why we asked Becky Ryon, our North Coast Office Director from Coastal Conservation League, to talk about advocacy strategies. And after Becky's talk today, we are actually going to take action. And I'll explain a little bit about the different groups that we can split into, but our hope today is that everyone here does some action to support native plants. So
Yeah, we have some different options for you, depending on where you live and what you're interested in. Thanks, Babe. Appreciate that introduction, how we got here. So yeah, I'm Becky Ryan. I'm the North Coast Office Director with the Coastal Conservation League. We're an environmental advocacy nonprofit. So that's our bread and butter, what we do, as opposed to the Native Plant Society, which has a broader mission for education. We do a lot of advocacy. So everything from the state house to working with county councils or even down to the city level. Mics. Okay, thanks. So yeah, to get started, just on some background, if I can figure out how to change the slide. Oh, there we go. Different advocacy tactics. So it can be as simple as you want it to be. It can be as easy as signing a petition, and then it can get more in depth to going and speaking to your legislators or speaking at a county council meeting. Can be as little or as much as you want it to be. But really, the best way that we have to talk to elected officials is by calling or writing them a letter or an email. They get some on a variety of different topics, but you'd be amazed, as many people as live in the area, how few they really hear from. And so every time you write a letter, it has a lot of weight to it. Because if they get 5 emails on the same topic, they will take notice, because they don't usually get 5 emails on the same topic. It's usually 5 different emails, everything from a loose dog to trash didn't get picked up or who knows what. So if, the Grand Strand chapter of the Native Plant Society is writing an email to the city of Conway's council, the city council, about how beautiful that Kingston Street bioswale is, they're going to take notice of that. So like I said, calling and writing letters, writing petitions, getting people to sign a petition. I can give you an example of one that we found to be effective. It doesn't have to be at this level, but many of you are probably familiar with the proposed Conway Medical Center Hospital across from Lewis Ocean Bay Heritage Preserve. We have come to speak to you before about that. My colleague Trapper Fowler's spoken on it. And we had a petition on change.org that collected 24,000 petition signatures. It was directed at Conway Medical Center, urging them to choose another location. And that was in addition to all of these other advocacy tactics. So I can't say that the petition was what put it over the finish line, but it certainly did help to convince Conway Medical Center to choose another location. They are in the process of selling that property to DNR. So hopefully it will be incorporated into Lewis Ocean Bay Heritage Preserve. So thank you to the Native Plant Society for all of your efforts in helping make sure that happened. Any day now, you're hoping that they're going to sign the paperwork so it'll be official and we can have a big celebration. But yeah, just going to show that a petition can be effective. The CEO of Conway Medical Center got 24,000 emails in his inbox. And we know he was still checking that email because he would send us emails from that address. So I don't know if he had a filter or if he was deleting every single one by hand or if he had an admin assistant to do it, but it must have been annoying for them. at the very least. So another opportunity is to speak during public input. All of the councils have public input at the start of a meeting. So the city council in Conway, Georgetown City Council, Georgetown County Council, Horry County Council, no matter where you live, there's going to be a council meeting with a public input opportunity. That could be a great opportunity for you to speak on the importance of native plants and encouraging them to plant more, perhaps in medians, or encouraging it on county property, or thanking them for the bioswale on Kingston Street. Many different opportunities there. Another one is attending a lobby day up in Columbia. So the Conservation Coalition has one for all of the organizations that are part of that coalition, including the South Carolina Native Plant Society is a member of the Conservation Coalition. So I think y'all would be invited to that as well. That's going to be on Tuesday, February 25th. So you start off the morning with an introduction, and they will do like a lobbying 101, so you can get comfortable with it. And then you'll go and speak to your representatives. They come out to a rope line. So it's a very quick meeting. It can be 30 seconds, but you'll work with the staff lobbyists to get them to text the legislators to come out and speak to you on whatever topic you want to talk about. And then it's followed that evening with an oyster roast put on by the conservation voters of South Carolina. So it's a fun day. And then you can also write letters to the editor or speak to TV reporters. Letters to the editor don't require you reaching out in advance necessarily, but we've had the best luck with the Horry Independent, I would say, or the Post and Courier Myrtle Beach paper. The Coastal Observer, if you're in Georgetown County, is very good about printing letters to the editor. We've not had much luck with the Sun News in recent years with them actually printing any letters, unfortunately, but you can always make a TV pitch to a reporter as well. If you have a native plant garden that you want to highlight or something like that. And that kind of goes along with the rallies and the other earned media events. So that's where you are not paying for media coverage, like you're not buying an advertisement, but you're doing an event or something that the news might be interested in. So you'll get the media coverage of it for free. So it could be like planting the native plant garden in Conway at the river walk, or it could be doing a tree planting or something like that to bring awareness to the Native Plant Society without paying for advertisement. Any questions on that before I go on? Okay, another thing you can do is talk to your HOAs, and Maeve has some more information with some potential talking points, but this could be a great opportunity to advance native plants right in your own neighborhood. So it can start with researching your HOA covenants, finding out what's in there, what's included, what's not, and it might involve writing an email to your board or attending your next quarterly board meeting to talk about native plants. And this article was for a neighborhood in Mount Pleasant that decided to go with native plants for erosion control for their pond, and they actually chose to do that, not so much for native plants and the habitat and all of the free ecosystem services, but because it was going to save them money. It was a significant cost savings for them to do native plants as erosion control versus hardened structures. So maybe that's a good selling point for your HOA as well, to consider doing something like this. It might save them money. And if you are interested in getting involved at your local level, this is a great resource to find out who your representatives are. So you can go to scvotes.sc.gov, or if you just Google SC voter lookup, you can find your own districts. So it'll show you who your county council person is, your Senate districts, and then you can find their contact information, their email addresses on their representative websites. Or if you are just looking for your legislators at the state level, the State House website is easier than that voter lookup because it will give you directly who your representatives are without just the number, and then it requires an extra Google step. And you can also click on their name here. It'll take you to their page each representative has a page, and it'll give you their phone number and their email address and their mailing address if you want to handwrite a letter, because I bet not many people do that anymore, and it would probably mean a lot to them to get a nice card saying, please support native plants or something like that. Oh no. Oh no. Apparently this was not the final version. Because there's supposed to be a picture here, a beautiful picture here of what it currently looks like.
We have a social media post that shows what it looks like on our chapter Facebook page.
Okay, so this is the site that Maeve was describing. This is what it used to look like. It was just a lot of asphalt and this concrete sidewalk. And what it now looks like is this beautiful bioswale to break up the pavement. And that's what Maeve was talking about, that they've received complaints around, even though it's gorgeous. So yeah, go to the Native Plant Society's social media. You can see the picture, or go check it out for yourself. Right there behind the Palmetto Tap and Pour, or Honey Hair Salons over there, right there off of Kingston. And what's the crossroad? Third? Fourth in Kingston? All right, down that way. So yeah, this is an opportunity this evening to write a letter, especially if you are a resident of the city of Conway. If you don't live in the city, you can still write a letter saying, oh, I'm a visitor to Conway and I love seeing this bioswale. I love what Conway is doing with native plants. You could do that, but they really do want to hear from residents. So if you live in the city of Conway, please consider writing your city council members tonight and talking about the benefits of the bioswale and thanking them for supporting native plants in the community. Or if you are looking for something, if you don't live in Conway, and you're looking for something that's got broader appeal, one thing that the Coastal Conservation League is taking on as a priority this year for our work at the State House is to support native plants along the lines of what Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia have already done to prioritize native plants on state properties. So North Carolina did a proviso. Virginia has a bill for it, directing state agencies to not rip out all of the ornamentals right away, but in the process of the regular maintenance, prioritize native plants on all state properties, excluding reasonable exceptions like the agricultural schools doing work on crops or something like that. There are, reasonable exceptions to that, but trying to prioritize native plants on everything from the governor's mansion, for example. Back in 2018, they put in a native plant garden in the South Carolina governor's mansion garden. If the governor's mansion can get one, why can't the Department of Natural Resource at their building get a native plant garden? Or why can't they prioritize native plants even at our parks and the landscaping as you're entering, Myrtle Beach State Park or something like that, or any state properties really, including state highways. So recently the SCDOT changed their guidelines for billboards. If you own a billboard, you have to maintain the area around the billboard, the landscaping, and they have now included an option for the regular mowing schedule or maintenance schedule to have pollinators. I'm hoping that they're native pollinators. I'm not sure that they specify that, but at least it's now an option. We would like to see it more than an option, but a requirement for state highways to have native plants, and not just pollinators, but a variety of native plants, but pollinators are great too. So another thing, if you're writing a letter to your legislator, could be to offer the support and the expertise of the Native Plant Society, or recommend other resources, making it as easy as possible for them to make this change and explaining the benefits reduced maintenance, the habitats, water quantity, water quality, all of those free ecosystem services. All right, so any questions for me before y'all get to work? Great. Okay, so Maeve, you want to explain what the different options are?
Sure. All right, so we are all gonna hopefully take some form of action, but we know not every form of advocacy is preferred by everyone. So we gave you some different options tonight. They're mostly in 3 big groups. So if you look around the whiteboard, there are like titles to kind of direct you. The first one over here on my left is related to HOA issues. So if you live in an HOA, maybe consider checking out this group. I will be over there and we'll be talking about ways to promote native plants in HOAs where we know there can be some restrictive covenants that prevent people from using native plants in their home gardens. I actually have a new resource that we produced that even if you don't spend all your time in this group, I hope if you live in an HOA, you will grab one of these and take it back and share it with your HOA board. It's guidelines for homeowners associations to help them to incorporate native plants. So if you are a board member, please take one. If you're not, but you live in an HOA, please pass this on to your landscape committee, your HOA board. And besides giving out this resource, we'll just be over here. If you have HOA issues, we will try to help you. We can chat about it, anything HOAs. In the back, this far table, we're going to focus on letter writing. So we have a draft template. It's really geared towards the city of Conway and that bioswale project that we talked about. So if you are a city of Conway resident, I really hope you will consider filling out that letter. But even if you're not, like Becky said, that can still be helpful if they hear about the same issue over and over. So we'll have envelopes and postage stamps and templates that you can fill out. And again, even if you don't want to write about this issue, please feel free to take a copy of that letter template, take it home, adapt it, modify it, reach out to state legislators. So that table is about writing letters and then talking about how to get in contact with elected officials. Becky will be back there to help with questions. And then this last table, I'm calling it miscellaneous, also social media. We have a social media post on our chapter Facebook page. So if nothing else, or if this is your preferred option, you can always just share that post, share it with friends, share it at somebody. That's a great way to promote that bioswale, show appreciation for it. And then any other topics, any plant issues, like did you see monarch butterflies were just listed as endangered? Whatever burning advocacy issues, Kara will be over there, right? Okay, and Catherine too, to talk about like whatever you want to talk about. Any questions? And you're not stuck at your table. If you finish writing your letter and you want to hop around, that's all good too. All right, well, that's our plan.
That's okay. Hey gang, for those of you joining us online, we will be doing this for the rest of the meeting time that we have here today. Let's see. There will be, yeah, that's the end of our presentation. We will send up a follow-up email that gives some of the resources and things that we talked about today. But otherwise, if you're joining us online, that's the end of our show for you. So we'll follow up in an email. Bye, y'all.